to keep that progression going and not getting into a plateau or getting to a point where you're just sick of playing guitar, which I never do. I very rarely get sick of playing guitar. I've been playing guitar for 36 years. So I never really get sick of it. Sometimes I get tired of playing the same thing, you know, and if I get tired of playing the same thing, then I just stop playing that thing. I don't do it anymore. I forget about that, what I was playing, and I might forget about it for 6 months. You know, I just don't ever play it. That's the best way to do it. And then when you come back to it, you'll have forgotten a little bit about how to play it, and you can come at it with new eyes and maybe find something new because you've been practicing other things. And maybe you can come at it from a different view, you know, where it might be a song that you've played for a long time, you know. Now, the song that I played at the beginning of this is Lenny by Stevie Ray Vaughan. I've been playing that song since 1990. That was when I learned that song. And I've played it somewhat the same, but I change it a lot, and what helped me a lot is by getting my RC 50 first, and now my RC 300. And by getting those, I was able to play the chord progression and then start playing guitar over the top of it, and finding the scales and finding all the leads and the melodies and things that go with it and stuff like that. And if you don't want to get stuck playing a song in a box, because I learned the song, I believe I found it on Guitar World, I believe. And when I got stuck in the box for a while playing the song the way it was wrote on the tablature that came off of Guitar World, I got stuck in that box for about 10 years, and that's something that I'll tell a lot of you guys. If you don't want to get stuck in a box, you want to learn the notes, learn the progression, but don't learn it note for note. There's no reason for you to play a song note for note, you know, because that's, you know, if somebody wants to hear somebody play that, they can grab a CD and listen to them. You should come at it from a new angle, because what makes a song popular, especially on YouTube or something like that, you know, if you're trying to do that, what makes it popular and what makes somebody want to listen to your stuff is when you play a song that everybody knows, but you play it in a completely new way that makes it sound as good or better than the original. And things don't sound as good or better than the original if you play it exactly like the original was. Nobody wants to hear that, because there's like 100 people on the internet doing that, you know, like For the Love of God. You know, there's millions of people on the internet that have played For the Love of God. So if you sit down and you want to play For the Love of God, and you turn on YouTube and you find 10 videos, everybody's going to sound exactly the same, and after about 10 videos you go, oh, that's kind of boring, now what, you know. And that's the thing. But when you see somebody new, you know, like you're searching through those and you find some guy that played For the Love of God on a cello, or he played For the Love of God on a piano, or he played For the Love of God on a slide guitar or a dobro, you know, or a saxophone or something like that. That's when you kind of look at it and go, wow, that's cool. Well, that's the reason why it's cool, because it's not exactly like the same shit that the guy played in the first place. You want to use your brain, and to show your musicality, that's what you're doing. You're gonna come at it from a different way, you know. The way I play Stevie Ray Vaughan's song is kind of an homage to what he does, but I don't want to play it exactly like he did, partly because of respect. You know, I respect him as a musician, and I think he's an amazing musician, and I know that no matter how long I've been playing, I can't play like him. That's in your fingers. A lot of the styles and the techniques and stuff are in your hands, so you need to develop your own style and your own technique. You're never gonna, even if you get the same exact equipment, you're never gonna sound like certain people. That's from their hands, you know, and you just don't have their hands, so you can't sound like that. So you gotta practice in a way that's going to allow you to move forward. And the way you want to do that is by learning somebody's music and then taking it to a new level, changing the scale progression, changing, like, say you take a Jimi Hendrix song that you really like all along the watchtower, or if 6 was 9, something like that. And you revamp it and you put it into a scale progression of Django Reinhardt. Put it in like a D minor progression or something like that. And you change it, and then you have to think. Maybe you learned the song, so you know the chords and you know the progression, but now you're going to transpose it into a chord progression and a scale that is a jazz scale, which changes everything up, changes everything. And then you have to learn the scale for the song and the melody in the song, and a lot of the notes that you're going to hit are going to be minor notes and stuff like that. So you'll be playing the same song, but you'll be able to find a way to play it in a new way. And by doing that, that will help you progress, and it'll give you a new idea and a new perspective on how you should come about a music, a song that you want to learn, to where you're not just like, well, I want to play it note for note. If you want to play it note for note, I'm sorry, but that's not a musician. You're not a musician, you're just a player. It's like going down to a volleyball net and having, some people playing volleyball, and then somebody comes in that's a professional sand beach volleyball player, and they just stomp everybody and nobody can keep up with them. Well, that's the difference between a player and a musician. So if you want to be a musician, that takes a lot of work, a lot of practice, and constantly playing and constantly working. But if you don't even have that time, a lot of people as they get older don't have that time to sit down and play like I did when I was a kid for 16 hours. So what you will do is use your time wisely. If you only have an hour to sit down and play, then sit down and play to backing tracks. And in an hour, you could listen to 30 backing tracks and just put a backing track on and just play to it. And even put on backing tracks for songs that you like, like For the Love of God, or I've done a couple videos on YouTube where I did backing tracks that were from For the Love of God, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Pink Floyd, things like that. I've done videos for people I've done videos with backing tracks from those songs. But unless you know what that song is, you won't be able to tell, because I don't really play the song. I just kind of fuck with the scale and dick around with it, try to find chords, try to branch out, try to find melodies, things like that in the song, and I'm not actually playing the notes for the song. Now I'm working on revamping For the Love of God, and I'm actually going to do it on this guitar. So I'm not going to be doing it on my other Steve Vai guitar that has a sustainer in it. And I want to try to make the song, I want to play the song so that it's true to the song, but I'm going to only use this guitar, maybe my DL4, and my amp, and that's it. Now granted, that's about $8,500 worth of equipment, but I'm not going to play it exact like Steve Vai, mainly because you can't. I mean, I can whammy back on this, but I want it to have more of kind of like a jazzy rockabilly tone, kind of thing. So I'm going to try to play it in a way where it has that sound, and I'm going to play the notes, but not quite exactly as the song is being played. And I'm gonna see about putting it on the net and having it sound like really cool. We'll see what happens, But yeah, but that's the thing. You should have goals. That's what a lot of guys end up doing. They just learn how to play somebody's song, and then they want to learn how to play it note for note, and they want to learn it. They want to make it sound like that, but they start to realize they can't get their amp and their equipment to sound like that. And they can't play that way. They can't play that fast. They can't play that. They don't have that much talent to play as proficiently as those people, and that gets them kind of depressed. So they end up not playing, and they end up losing the will to practice and to play, and it kind of becomes a depressing thing when you pick up the guitar and you start to think like, I'm not as good as I would like to be. You know, the way to get out of that is just, first of all, don't learn how to play people's songs note for note. You know, that's not something you should try to do. And don't learn how to play somebody's song exactly like they play it. You know, if you're one of those people, then you're one of those people, but I'm not, and that's not musical. To play a song to where if somebody closed their eyes, they think they're listening to that person is a skill, but it's no different than listening to people. Simon Cowell talks about it all the time on The Voice and things like this. When people come up, they sound like they're singing karaoke, you know, where they sound like they're singing note for note and trying to basically sound like the original person that sung the song. They don't have their own style. They're singing like they're singing karaoke in a karaoke bar, and they're trying to make their voice sound exactly like the original singer, you know, which means you can sing, but you don't really have any talent, because talent comes from being musical, you know, and you're not musical if you can sound exactly like somebody else. That's a talent, but it's not the talent that musicians and people like Simon Cowell are looking for. You know, they're looking for people that are actually good. And how you're actually good is if you can use your voice, use your instrument like an instrument. And the way you do that is you have to understand the mechanics of what you're doing. And the way you do that is by taking something that you want to play and playing it in a new way. And that's what gets people to pique their interest and listen to what you're playing, and not just go, it's just another person playing the same old song. So that would be my advice to anybody that wants to get out of a box, get out of a plateau, and learn something new and try to get back into writing music again. You're going to be able to do that by, like I say, the way you end up writing music is you'll play somebody else's stuff, come at it from a new angle, in a new scale, and by doing that, you'll find a new progression, a new way of playing it. Maybe you'll use the picking pattern differently, and by doing that, it'll also give you some new ideas in that scale to play your own songs. And you might, what happens to me all the time, and most guitar players, is when you play some chords and you're strumming a chord pattern and you go, oh, that sounds like this, and then you'll start playing that song, and in most cases it's not the original scale progression and it's not the original thing, but the pattern that you're playing makes you think of that. And when that happens, that will also happen for other people. So if you play it in that scale and you learn the notes and stuff like that, don't worry about what is the original scale, what is the original thing. Don't worry about that. Learn how you think it sounds, because that's what's going to matter. How does it sound to you? And once you've learned how to play it, then go out and make a video of it, go out and play it on the stage or something like that, play it in front of your friends, whatever, and you'll get people that are impressed with your playing, because they can hear you. You're taking another look at an original piece of music, and because you came at it from a different angle, people will still know what it is, just like you did when you played those chords. But you'll be coming at it from a new angle, and everybody will see that you actually had to sit down and write that. And they might even ask you, did you write that? And you'll be like, well, I transposed it to a new scale and I changed a few things. And that's when people start realizing you're a musician. You know, that's the difference between a player and a musician. You know, so that would be my advice to you guys if you want to get out of that box. So thanks for watching. If you guys got any questions, comments, whatever, leave them in the section below. Share this video, like it, whatever. And thanks for watching.